How's it going, doggy people? I hope you all are doing well. Today we're going to be going over a video by Beckman's dog training, doing his free classes, or I don't know if they're free, probably are, but they're in, I think it's Kahoots is the name of the pet store, so it's something local to, I'm assuming, his area. We don't have any that I've ever been to. So, based on his title here, dog makes the mistake of interrupting Beckman, gets free gentle leader lesson in front of class. So, already sounds like he's putting the blame on the dog, saying the dog made a mistake of interrupting him. So he's basically going to get punished. So, lovely. This is just what I see when I'm reading the title. So, as always, everything is being used in a Fair Use Act for criticism and educational purposes. This is nothing personal against Beckman. This is just my opinion, trying to give a voice to the dog, trying to explain things in a different way. I'm not out here to try to change anybody's mind, particularly trainers' minds. I'm just out here to give information to owners and other people in the animal world, wherever you are on the spectrum of animal world. You can be a trainer if you are, that's fine. I'm just trying to reach out to people who are open-minded and I'm just pointing out from the dog's point of view. So, if you're ready for that, then let's get started. Aw. Okay, so he stole that Kong from the little shepherd puppy, and this guy, I think, pulled back and the little doggy fell down. Oh, no, never mind. Okay, so he corrected the dog because it was growling, and he just kind of throws it down. So I already don't like that. I would not be okay with that. If I were there and he did that to my dog, I would be having words with him. You know, excuse you, don't you be yanking on my dog's leash. But that's me.
Good boy.
It's too late for the treat. Dude, what you could have done is done a trade. Instead of yanking and dropping him like that, and then thinking food's going to do it, you could have had the food there, or another toy, and made it really exciting on the side. He would let go of the Kong automatically to go for the other toy, and then you give him the other toy, so he could be rewarded for dropping. Not just taking a leash, and just pulling up on the dog, and then throwing him aside.
It actually wasn't great. Like, he held onto it like a Malinois and growled on his way up.
Well, he's a puppy.
I want to fix every dog today. I really do.
Now, that's one thing that I hear is, I want to fix. They're not... I mean, yeah, I want to fix problems too, but I don't expect to fix the dog. I need to teach the owner to understand their dog and work on the problems, and I don't expect to fix it in one day, in one seminar, in 1 hour, in one lesson. That doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that I make anybody sign up for multiple lessons. Most of the time I only ever see them once. And then we check up every now and then. But I would love to be able to fix it, the behaviors that the owner and the dog are having, which is miscommunication. But I don't expect to, it's not realistic to be able to actually fix it. You work on it, and even then, training is management. It's for the life of the dog.
Fix every dog's problem that's in here right now, and I'll get to the problems. If there are problems, I want to fix them. That's my goal. It's not to make...
Well, that, to me, kind of would be a red flag. The fact that he sees it as, okay, just check mark, down the line. Okay, boom, 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 this is how you do it. Your dog does this is how you do it. Your dog does this is how you do it. To me, that's not really what training is about. Awesome on this person right here. She has a dog and a gentle leader, but she's leaning over loosely. She's giving her dog a little reward. Very good. Kudos to you. Good job, girl.
Make a video on YouTube.
Very gentle. Very nice.
I see nobody with a gentle leader on today.
He sees nobody with a gentle leader on today. There was this one, and there was a Doberman just behind him that had a gentle leader on.
What we're going to do, because we're at that point, we're going to condition this guy to a gentle leader on this dog right here, because he needs...
Okay, so this one looks like he has a prong collar on. I wonder if they're related, because they look almost exactly alike. So I thought this one had a gentle leader on. That might have been after the fact, so who knows.
Something different than the prong. Something...
If you're still struggling with any walking device, change it up. Instead of switching to a different tool, I mean, unless you were just absolutely mismatched with your dog and you need immediate help, but you can still plan to remove the item later on, meaning remove the tool, then that's one thing. But the thing about using tools with your dogs is that you begin to rely on them, such as specific tools that are meant to get more control over the dog. A gentle leader, an easy walk harness, a prong collar, an e-collar. Anything really besides like a muzzle that's more for safety, and then the ID tags or harness are just management tools. They're just for being able to take your dog and walk them. But tools that are specifically designed to take control of the animal or help you gain control over the animal are just that. They're tools, and they can become crutches. So you should, you don't go your whole, well, I don't know, maybe you do if you're Bob the Builder, right? You don't necessarily take a hammer with you every single day just in case you find a nail that needs a hammer. And with that, also, there's the saying of, the one tool in your toolbox is a hammer, you see every problem as a nail. So that's kind of how I see him as well. Like your dog pulls, gentle leader. Your dog is aggressive, gentle leader. Your dog does this, gentle leader. And the way he uses it, I disagree with. I think it's very dangerous.
Than the collar. Something different than a choke chain. You got to change it up.
I wouldn't say you need to change it up. I would say you need to change what you're doing and how you're interacting with your dog. Where are you taking your dog where you need to gain more control of them? If you're taking your dog, this is a beautiful dog, by the way, super cute. If you're taking your dog somewhere where they're acting like this, you're working too quickly. They're over threshold. Taking your dog to the pet store can be, in my opinion, is not necessary. So it can be a privilege, or it's a goal to work up to. You don't have to take your dog necessarily to the pet store unless you're fitting them for a harness or something. And there's, you can work around it. There's a time and place for everything, and you could do whatever you want. But taking your dog to a pet store, especially to a crowded area like this, and your dog is reactive, excited, stressed or frustrated, this can be avoided. And you can work on this at home and slowly work your way to the pet store. I always tell people, work in your house, work in the front yard, the backyard, work your way up, down the street, work your way to the outside of the store. My mentor always gave me this visual of a target. So you have the three circles. You have the outside of that, which would be the outside of the store. So you just walk your dog up and down the front of the store and just have him stand there. Be cool. Then the next one might be you go inside the store and walk really quickly just around. You work your way up to the outside of the aisles, and the center of the target would be able to go in and out of those aisles and then go out. And you take your time. You work at your dog's pace. If your dog reacts and they show frustration, or they pull, or they get excited or bark, you need to go back to the last step and just practice some more of that, where they're able to they could stand there. I don't care if they sit. I'm just standing outside of a Lowe's or a pet store would be kind of probably a little bit more problematic because there'd be a lot more distractions. But say we start at this pet store. We're standing outside of the car in the parking lot. I just stand there. The dog stands there. They're on a loose leash. Reward. We do that. We don't even go inside the pet store. Then the next day, we just stand outside the pet store on the side. The front door is here, and we're just way over here. Reward. We're able to walk around. The dog can sit if they want to. I'll reward for that. They can stand. I'll still reward for that. I'll reward for anything that's not barking or pulling. Then we go inside, and we turn around, come right back out. Reward. We go inside the door, stay for a second, come back out, reward. Sorry, I didn't mean to play it there. And so on and so forth. And then you work your way up to this. And my goal is to be able to work that dog in all of that with a harness. Nothing restricting his head or his face, no corrections, no prong collars, no e-collars, no choke collars of any sort, chain or not. That would be how I work through this. And I don't have to rely on something that causes discomfort or restricts or he pops on or anything like that.
Finley is a 1-year-old.
Ouch. Now, I would absolutely be irate if somebody, even if I came for help, if they started popping on my dog, once they put the head halter on, they start popping, he tries to poke it inside, he starts jerking, I would take this leash out and I would leave.
Doodle.
And they would not be in the wrong if they did that too. You have every right. Even though she gave the leash to him, and she gave consent for him to work the dog, you can remove consent at any point and say, no, I don't think so. We're not going to do that, buddy. You can say, hey, I want you to show me in a different tool. If he doesn't, okay, no problem. It's a free class, so. But you can remove consent at any time. Don't ever let people like this, just because they seem like they know stuff and they can talk and they sound fancy and whatnot, and they get results, that doesn't mean that it's the only way to get results. especially if it's your dog and you care about him. He doesn't care. He doesn't know this dog.
Sheepadoodle.
Ouch.
Finley has come to my facility before.
Ouch. Ouch.
Here's what I'm going to do with Finley,
Ouch.
and then I'm going to do with you, I think.
Ouch.
Finley barked 15
Ouch.
times over here, stimulated by dogs. They said that the gentle leader, she goes and hides with the gentle leader.
Ouch over here.
They also said she fights the gentle leader.
Yeah.
I don't care about either of those two things.
Well, you're an idiot. If you don't care how the dog feels, you're a bad trainer, in my opinion. That doesn't mean that because I care about the dog and how they feel that they're going to be passive and I'm going to let them get away with this. That's how people like him think. That, oh, because I actually care how the dog feels and I care about their emotional state and their stress levels, that I'm just going to let them get away with this behavior. You know what I would do? Like I explained earlier, I wouldn't be here. If I walk in, the dog starts barking, I'm leaving. We're going to go and stand by the car. And then we have work to do. I'm not leaving because the dog is bad. I'm leaving because I don't want this dog to practice behavior that is not healthy for them or other dogs. It's not good for them to be stressed, period. It's not good for them to feel the stress, whether it's excitement and frustration, because that can lead to more reactivity and more aggression.
I don't want you to care about either of those two things.
No, bad advice right there. They should absolutely, it seems like they care. They should absolutely continue to care.
You know what I care about? That piercing bark.
Yeah. Jesus. Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, I've been there. I am conditioned by my Shiba that I don't like barking. Like, my Shiba really doesn't bark a lot, but when he does, it's out of the blue. And for me, personally, which is a personal problem, not the dog's problem, so the dog wouldn't care, but I'm just saying, when you scare me, I instantly go to fight. From fight or flight, if you scare me, I get angry. Now, it doesn't last long, and I don't necessarily, I don't take it out on anybody, but my first instinct is to just, fight or flight. I get angry, I get flustered, because that's just my instinct. So I understand about barking. I do not like barking. However, you can handle it a million different ways. If that dog is, the dog shows a lot of other signs of discomfort and irritability before they start barking. So if I were there and the dog started barking, I would move away, go behind another aisle. Whether I'm there for class or not. Who cares about the class? If I were there, I would take this dog and walk him behind an aisle. And just let him walk there. See if I can get their attention, give them a treat. High value reward. If they don't want to take the food, we go to another aisle further back. If they start barking, I'm going to start to go to the other end of the store. If they continue barking, they don't want to take food, okay, we're over threshold, we need to leave. And I'm not going to be berating them and telling them they're bad or popping or jerking them or getting upset because of that. That the dog is telling me, and I'm listening to the dog, and we're testing what can you handle? And they can't handle this. No problem. We'll just go back a few steps. We'll work our way up to it. This, again, is a privilege to be in a pet store. For a human to have their dog there. I'm not saying it's necessarily a privilege for the dog. The dog could care less. Or maybe they enjoy it. I don't know. It doesn't mean that it has to be a punishment.
I would rather... Do you want your dog to go and hide when the gentle leader comes out? No, but there's ways to fix that. We're going to associate this gentle leader with...
He just popped this dog probably 10 times already, and now you're going to associate it with a treat? It's kind of late for that, buddy.
Kahoots treats? I'm a big fan of these new Kahoots treats, by the way.
I'm sure because he's sponsored by them. So he's going to push the product. That's fine. That's a business take, and maybe he really likes them. That's fine. That's terrific. I am not sponsored at all in any way by anybody, but I love the Mud Bay homemade treats, or the Mud Bay brand of treats. It's an awesome store, I'm sure, just like Kahoots.
Smoked beef. They have all different flavors over there. They're small. These are good. These are like some of the best treats there are, okay? So, I'm going to associate...
So again, could be a sponsor. I don't know.
This gentle leader with treats.
You should have done that in the first place. If the dog was properly conditioned, you wouldn't have to be popping it. You show the gentle leader, you get the dog to put it on themselves where they walk into it. That's how you properly condition it, where you use treats and you teach the dog, I put it on, take it off, reward. Put it on, take it off, reward. Put it on, treat, take it off, reward. Or sorry, put it on, reward, and then take it off. And then put it on, clip it, unclip it, take it off, reward.
associate anything you want with treats. You want people to come over. Who has the leash, the person reactive dog? The person has nothing to offer your dog. This gentle leader has nothing to offer your dog.
Except for pain compliance.
Associate the gentle leader and the person coming over with the greatest thing in the world. And all you want to do is go, gentle leader's on, greatest thing in the world's coming.
Spit it out. Can't even go down to get it because this is too short. And if it went down to get it, then this dog is smart. They probably associate they're going to get popped if they try to move their head to get that treat. So.
Dude came to the house, greatest thing in the world is coming. Okay?
Okay, I'm surprised he didn't pop it. Great.
The gentle leader, I am not a spokesman for them. They should give me money. They do not give me money, but they should because
you don't use them the way they're intended. The gentle leader itself says never pop a dog on the face like this, where he says don't yank or jerk, and that's all he does with them. That's how he teaches with them.
The biggest fan of them. It's the single greatest dog training invention ever made.
That's exactly how you should not use it, and that's how the thing. And if you read the packaging, it will tell you not to do this. So no wonder they don't want to sponsor you.
When Finley leaves me, she hits the end of the leash, and instead of it being a prong or a hit with the collar or a choke chain or a harness,
it's something wrapped around the nose, much more sensitive on the face and the back of the head than it is on the throat.
Her whole head turns like a horse.
Yeah, but it hurts a lot more even than that prong collar. Who knows? If it's this, I can't say because I've never had one on my face. I don't have the anatomical similarities of this dog. My face is not long, so I cannot. Otherwise, I would put a gentle leader on my face and do the same thing. I've walked into a prong collar, and it hurts like hell. And this, I imagine, hurts just the same. And when people do it with horses, you don't pop their face. You don't pop the halter. And horses are very fearful. Yeah, I teach horses in rope halters and I pad them up and I teach them to give very, very gently. Just like when I walk a dog on a harness that clips in the back. I teach them the same way. Horses taught me how to be soft.
And she is a horse. She's
not a horse, dude. She's not even the size of a horse. She's not the biggest dog I've ever seen. She's very easy. She's sheep, poodle, sheep, whatever you call it. She's a smart dog. She seems very easy to control. She's not a horse. And it doesn't matter. No matter how big the dog is, you don't treat them like any other animal than what they are. She's a predator. She's a dog. She has a young mind. And with a horse, just because it's huge doesn't mean you need to abuse it either. I'm against bits and whips, and I have a whole video on my channel about horses that go into detail if you would like to see that.
65, 70 pounds, right?
So?
I mean, she's pretty big, so she needs to feel something different.
Ouch. No, she doesn't. So he's saying because she's big, it's okay to be more heavy-handed. That's absolute baloney. You're just an idiot.
It's the end. Then Finley
Ouch. She doesn't just hit the end. You pull up on her face. This is not her hitting the end. You're pulling up higher and you're jerking, you're popping.
Comes to me
Ouch.
And she can get a treat. I'm just going to cruise around. Maybe I'm going to say hi to your dogs. Maybe I'm not. Come on.
Pop. Ouch. Poor thing.
Finley didn't want to come.
Well, I don't blame her. Anybody here want to give a reason? Give a reason in the comments why you wouldn't want to come either. If you were Finley. Or give a reason why she should come. What would he have to give her if she came? Besides if he had a treat, which, I mean, just give me your options or your reasons. For me, I
care. Is this dog nice?
Again, he doesn't care that she doesn't want to come. That's the problem. Is that he's creating slaves.
Yeah, 4 months old. Finley, come on. Go say hi to your
4-month-old
friend.
puppy. Adorable.
Girl, Finley.
Tight leash.
Yes.
Dog is a little bit nervous, the little lip lick. The high leash doesn't help. The ears are up. Got little back raptor claw, dew claws back there.
Loose leash. When you're meeting dogs with a reactive or any dog, always have a loose leash. Your leash should not be like this. If a dog were to react, you have no recourse, and your leash should not be like...
if your dog is reactive, then you shouldn't have them in this tight corner here with another dog like this. I don't care what tools you have or how loose of a leash. this is a trap point. This is a lot of pressure, physically on either side. This is a really bad way for dogs to meet, especially if any one of them is reactive.
You should not be looking at your phone.
I agree. If you're going to have a dog meet another dog, be paying attention to the dogs. Make sure that they have enough space to move around. They're not going to get trapped in their leashes. And you're not causing extra pain using a prong collar or pulling on their head halter or any of this.
Make sense? Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk over here. Come on.
Cute little puppy.
I want you for 5 minutes to be walking around this store, listening.
To condition the GL. Oh, gentle leader. Walk your dog around in an undistracted area for 5 minutes before going on your walk. That's not how I would necessarily condition it, because as soon as they get out the door, it's going to start over. So, I mean, you can do that, but I would be giving treats and walking, a step and treat, and we go outside and we stand there and we treat, and then we can end the session there, or we can walk around, drop some treats, let them sniff them and go for them. I mean, again, I don't use gentle leaders. I don't recommend them, personally. But I think there's more steps to it than just walking around the house undistracted. I think it's good that it's undistracted, but what happens when you have a distraction? You're just going to pop?
And conditioning this dog to a gentle leader. I already did the chicken. You're fine without it. I would just start.
Oh, great. Yeah. So now, she doesn't need it. She's good. She's not conditioned to it. She's going to start pawing or freaking out. Oh my God, look at these fat little puppies. You're so cute. I know. I'm very easily distracted by dogs, as you can tell.
Okay, we're going to get this dog conditioned today.
Yeah, today. That's his goal. That's what I hate about, 5-minute trainers or trainers that are like that, where it's like, oh my God, there's a turtle. Sorry, guys. I'm trying. I love this little turtle. I used to have a turtle. His name was Trunks, if you know Dragon Ball Z. Anyway. Sorry. This keeps me from, having a stroke from just being too stressed. So when people who are like, they make it an event. It's a process, not an event. By event, I mean, he's going to say, by golly, by the end of today, we're going to fix this problem. Your dog is going to be conditioned to this head halter. Like, that just means that you're like a weekend warrior. You don't spend any time with your animals, whether it's dogs or horse or turtles or whatever else, fish. And on the weekend, though, you go to lots of events and you spend 8 hours riding, or you spend 8 hours running with your dog, or training, or doing this, or agility, or whatnot. It's not going to help. You need to do lots of little sessions. I mean, I tell people, you can have a session be as short as 30 seconds or 2 minutes, but really no longer than 20, 30 minutes max at a time. But you can have, if you have short sessions, you can have them multiple times throughout the day. You can have 6 5-minute sessions. That equals 30 minutes of training throughout the day.
Proof's in the pudding. That dog has not barked since I put that thing on, because the dog's a little tripped out.
But the dog hasn't been sitting here, though. You've been moving the dog. That's not really proof in the pudding. That dog may have done that if you were walking them without the gentle leader. The dog is not just sitting here stuck in their mind. You're moving their feet. There are other distractions, such as sniffing and walking, keeping their feet, and chicken, and this and that. If the dog were sitting here, I'm sure it would be barking.
Usually full of herself. Now she's a little like, I don't like this thing. That's okay.
No, it's not okay. He's saying that she's full of herself. She's being a dog. She's not full of herself, by the way. She's frustrated, or she's agitated, or she's scared, or she's excited, or she's whatever. She's over threshold, and it's not okay because we as a human put them there. We brought the dog into our life. We put them in this situation. We don't have to, because again, being in a pet store with your dog is a luxury, not a necessity. I mean, there's, again, there's the exception to the rule, but in this case, it doesn't seem like a necessity. You can work on this at home, work your way up to it.
Dogs cannot like everything in life. That is okay.
That is okay. And I can agree with that to a degree. That yes, I don't expect my dog to like everything in life. There's times when I need him to just tolerate it, but I prepare him for those moments. Particularly moments where I'm going to take him somewhere, take him to the vet. He's not going to like it, but I can teach him ahead of time to tolerate it. He doesn't like Hermes, my ferret. He's not the best of friends with Hermes. You prefer him not to be here, but he tolerates it well. He tolerates Hermes well. And Hermes is respectful of Adonis's space, and vice versa. And I took time to condition them together, to, let them be free together. And I was always watching, and I was supervising every interaction they had together before I was able to trust them on their own.
Okay. You know what else you can do on a gentle leader? When your dog's meeting a dog and it might bite a dog, if they go to bite a dog and you correct them,
ouch,
on a collar or on a harness or on a choke chain or on anything that sits here, they get to that dog.
Well, if you're going to have your dog that you're not sure if it's okay meeting another dog, then you just shouldn't meet it. Your dog does not have to meet every other dog. Your dog, and likewise back to the thing where your dog may not like everything. I know my Shiba does not like other dogs, so I don't put him in spaces with other dogs. But I can teach him to tolerate other dogs in the general vicinity. That doesn't mean that he has to tolerate them in his space, because I will be his advocate, an advocate for him and his comfort, and I will step in front and keep other dogs from his space. But other than that, if we're in public spaces and there's a dog 10 feet from us, he can tolerate that. I've prepared him for that. How? I use positive reinforcement and a regular harness. If your dog is at any risk, that's why I don't say hello to other dogs, because I know my Shiba doesn't like it, he doesn't care, and he would snap at them. Okay, could I have raised him differently? Yeah. Could I actually teach it now? Sure. Do I really care to? No, because for me, it's not a priority. I don't take him to places where there's a lot of other dogs. I don't have a need to. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about having dog friends. It's enough that he tolerates the ferret.
A foot more? If your arms extend 3 feet more?
If your dog is that crazy, and I say crazy, but I mean that reactive, you shouldn't be sniffing other dogs. You need to work on your dog. You need to figure out why your dog is this reactive. You need to work on the reactivity first, and maybe they don't need to make friends with everybody. And you can work on that later on. That you just, they don't need to say hi to every dog. They don't necessarily need dog friends. If they have them, great, but they don't have to be a happy dog. My Shiba does not like other dogs in the household. He's just a one-dog child, and that's okay. That's how I raised him. That's what he wants to be happy. He is 11 and a half years old. He has given me so much in my life, and so I can give that to him. I can show him that respect. And the next dog I have, I hope to make sure that they can be comfortable with other dogs. And if not, that's okay.
Control. You know how far a dog gets when it goes to bite another dog when I have a gentle leader on the dog?
Well, the gentle leader tells me that you're using false security. Because you can control them and pop them, then you're going to flood them. You're going to take them to other dogs. And if they try to bite because they're not ready, they feel stressed, they feel flooded, there's someone in their space, they just get corrected. So then they learn not to show that. But eventually, when they don't have that on, because they're very smart, they will go for the bite.
2 inches?
It's a false sense of security.
The teeth part instantly turn when they hit the end of the leash. It's the greatest thing ever.
Just like Jeff Gellman with his shut up button on the shock collar. He says that too. It's like the greatest thing ever. It's not. You're just an idiot.
Here's how you get off a gentle leader. We got gentle leader here. We got one here.
Good. I'm glad that he's mentioning that to get off it. Terrific. I'm glad that right now it sounds like he's not promoting it as a forever tool.
One on him. You use the gentle leader at the beginning of the walk.
Pie.
Then middle of the walk, you take the leash off the gentle leader and you put it on the collar. We're phasing out or fading out the gentle leader.
So she's showing demonstration. Ooh, okay. If this is his dog was staring down this dog. His tail's up. Let's look at this dog. He comes over. He's really staring at this dog. This puppy here is, and she's watching this dog too. This puppy, or I call it a puppy, I don't know, this younger dog actually handles that very well. He's really yeah, he might be nervous because she's around him. He has this thing on his face, but he's staring at this dog. And for being his dog, which I assume he's the demo dog, I don't know if this is his wife or not. I have no idea. But I'm assuming that this is his demo dog. His Prince, or I guess it's Prince. I think his dog needs a little bit more socialization training, personally.
Fading out the gentle leader.
Staring at this dog the whole time, tail is up, wiggles. As soon as she takes it off of him, takes a step forward to this dog. And what does this dog do this whole time? I've been watching this guy. I'm going to watch this guy now.
Put it on the collar.
Or this little girl.
Phasing out or fading out the gentle leader.
Very good. So she went to lay her head down, look away. She did a look away. Looked at her owners, didn't touch it. This dog has stared at her the whole time. So what does that go to tell you about this guy? Is he really... This is not impressive. This actually is a big warning flag to me that his own dog is staring down other dogs.
Makes sense? So it's still on. The
Finally
stimulus is still there. But it's not being used.
Tail is high. Or what little tail he has left is high and stiff. He just looks very stiff.
And
very stiff. God, I mean, like, I don't know if it's just the muscles on him, but he just looks super tense.
Still there.
She goes to pet him, like, he just seems super tense. Maybe that's just the way his body is. He's just, like, very lean and very muscular, but she goes to pet him and, like, like, nothing gives. Maybe I'm just used to my Shiba, and he has, like, a, thick layer of fur that just kind of moves, but, like, it's, like, there's no give to it. I don't know. That's just personally my own, I'm just baffled by that.
3/4 of the way through the walk, you take off the gentle leader completely. Then you do that process earlier and earlier on the walk. Make sense?
But the gentle leader is still on. Just because you take the leash off, you're still tricking them because they think it's still on.
This video on how to properly use the gentle leader and eventually...
That's actually not the way to properly use it. Read the instructions. The instructions will tell you how to actually properly use it, not his technique, which goes against the user guide. Okay, so we're talking about this little puppy here. Will bite you. So now we have resource guarding.
He's bit you?
Yeah, but not too.
Like a plate, like a mouth. He says, hey, I want that. Now, it doesn't mean that it's good. We can teach the puppy not to be protective over his toys, and you don't need to be aggressive to do it. Oh, little babies.
Aggressively? Just kind of like that.
Is there anything in the Kong? He'll just bite you over an empty Kong?
No, only if it's stuff. Or piggy or...
Oh, something good.
So a resource, not just an empty Kong, which tells me it's probably not too much, not really a resource, like a serious case of resource guarding, which I've worked with dogs who will protect an empty bowl like it's full of steak, but we can still work on that. Actually, I just went over a video of trying to help a friend out, giving some tips to help his English Bulldog who's a resource guarder. So if you want to see a very in-depth, detailed video of that, you can check it out. It was just a couple of videos ago talking about resource guarding that I explain. And there's also more on the channel too if you want to look into my training playlist.
No dog has ever done that to me at the board and train. Why hasn't no one done that to me?
Because you're very aggressive when you work with them.
Tell you a specific thing to do and then a big picture thing to do. It's kind of back to that bossy thing.
No, not the bossy thing.
You run the house. You asked them to get off the furniture, didn't do it. You grabbed it.
No, that's just baloney. That's stupid. That's dangerous. You are not the boss. Dogs generally don't guard things from confident leaders. Yeah, baloney. Try my Shiba. When I tried that nonsense, that bullshit of trying to be the boss because I thought I had to, guess what? It made him more aggressive. It made him fight back more because he's, I'll say, an old school dog. He's a smart dog, my Shiba. He said, no, you're not going to do that to me. When I actually learned how to do it appropriately, and I showed him respect, and I said, hey, let's trade. Let's not fight. And he was never really a resource guarder, but like if he was ever reactive, and he was leash reactive, and this and that, and the more I fought with him, the more he fought back. He's a smart dog. He's gonna give what he gets. I show him respect. If there was a dog that was growling at me on the couch, I would just call them off the couch, give them something nice over here, then go sit down. Then we would work on that to where I can ask them to get off the couch and they see something better than being on the couch. I mean, it's not just one thing. It's a whole relationship thing. So if you're constantly controlling your dog like he does, you're probably going to have issues with that, where your dog feels the need to defend against their leader.
Yeah.
Which, you're not a leader. You're just over-controlling.
He jumped on you, you kept walking. Like, there's no jumping on the bus. Like, once you do that, it does help the resource guarding. But
No, actually, it doesn't. I mean, it could in some cases, but these trainers just say everything as if it's fact. You know, if the only tool in your toolbox is a hammer, you see every problem as a nail. For him, it's just being a boss, being a confident leader. He also likes Caesar Milans. That's no surprise.
Okay. Now we're going to go...
Just because your puppy jumps on you and you punch him in the face and stop him from jumping, this is a very extreme example. But however you stop them from jumping, say using punishment of any sort, that's not going to translate to anything else. It'll be in that one moment. Or that they just don't jump. Or they don't jump on you. Or they don't jump at this time. Or they don't jump when they're on a certain leash or a collar. Dogs are very smart. But they'll jump on you, your sister, your aunt, your uncle, the niece, the nephew, a stranger, this goldfish. They'll jump on anything but that one person. But it's not because they respect you. They fear you. Or they can not jump on anybody, including this goldfish, because it's more rewarding to stay on the floor.
How I actually fix it, I haven't seen it in a long time with me. A private session, it happened once, I think, twice. I call it shock and awe. Dog's got his thing on the ground. He's eating it. I walk up to the dog and I go loud, I go clap, and I say, hey, it is not a punishment. I'm not yelling at a dog.
You cannot say that is not a punishment. That is the definition of it. Resource guarding can be very primal. Brain goes to another place. They need to be snapped out of it with a unique noise. No, you're just scaring them. You're pairing this behavior with some kind of a scary noise, which is a negative to the dog, meaning it's a correction, or at the very least, no, it's a correction. It's not the very least a negative. It's a correction, okay? Just like if you had a shock collar on the dog and you had a very high level and you shock it and make the dog yelp. Or if you smack an umbrella on the ground, or you throw something in the air and you make a noise, or you pop a balloon next to them. You're not physically touching them, but you're still scaring them enough that they pair it with them protecting this food or you coming up to their food. So now when you come up, you're scary, so they move away to prevent this scary noise from happening again. It's a correction. It's not pleasant. It's negative.
Trying to do a noise, something that hits their brain. I go, hey, and I go, wow. And the dog literally, usually, goes, oh my gosh. And they look up at me, as opposed to this.
So I assume when he does that, he's glaring at them, holding eye contact. And then what happens after that? We don't know what happens.
Like, I'm going to come get the thing. Like,
well, yeah, I agree. That would set the dog up to want to be protective too. But who normally does that? I mean, if people do that, then yeah, they're setting their dog up for failure. You should just walk up nonchalant, or you can, toss something over here and go to the bowl. And if you want to see, again, more detail of how I explain how I work with resource guarding, you can check out the other video, but I'll make a quick story here where, I know my stories are long, but I've worked with a corgi before. Cute little corgi. Had a resource guarding issue. Say he had a bone here, he'd be chewing on it, he's really into it, and I'm standing, corgi's here, I'm standing here. I take a piece of treat, pepperoni, something very smelly, and I toss it here on the ground. He sees it, he goes for it, and he makes a beeline straight for, he's skidding on the floor, trying to run back to his bone. Okay. I made no attempt to try to get to the bone. Drop another treat here. Goes and gets it. Runs back. Drop another treat here. Runs and gets it. Drop another treat. He stays, and then he walks back a little bit slower. And then I take a couple steps forward, and during this process, I'm able to stand next to the bone. I toss a treat away. Dog goes and gets the treat, and then takes his time coming back. And I let him chew on it again. Toss the treat. This time I bend down a little bit, and I stand up. And over time, while I'm tossing the treat away, I bend down, I touch the bone, I stand back up. I bend down, I pick up the bone, I put it right back down, stand back up. And I let the dog go back to it. And by then, the dog is like, what you have is more interesting than this bone. And then at the end, I can leave him alone with his bone. He can chew on his bone. I was able to teach him that he knows what to expect. Just because I'm here, I'm not going to take your bone away. You can leave your bone in my presence and trust that it's going to be safe. You can leave. You can come back. I'm not even going to attempt to take your bone. You build that trust, and then you can teach him, hey, I can bend down and touch your bone, but it's not going away. And then over time, you can even pick up the bone and trade it for something else, a piece of chicken or something else.
Up, and the dog goes, there he is, lips lift a little, lips lift a little more. Like, you can't do that anymore. We can't have this slow thing. We got to go big and different.
I don't agree with that. I think that just is going to make the dog that much more psychotic in the long run, possibly, or want to protect their food that much more, or less trustworthy of you, or when they see you coming, they associate that noise, and then they chew it up quicker.
And I go, wham.
So instead of scaring them, I want them to be able to trust me. When I walk up, it's a good thing. That they will readily look and be like, hey, what else do you got for me?
And the dog goes, ugh. And then I instantly walk into the dog, and I tell him, like, this is not your thing. And I'll sometimes step on it, like I'll back him up. But
just like what Caesar Milan does.
Them, go. Then I step on the thing.
No, I think that's very dangerous.
And then I might tell them, go.
And they're not going to trust you, or you're going to teach them to fight.
Sometimes I'll act like I'm eating it.
That's just stupid. That's just even more ruining your dog's trust. Who cares? Like, your dog, that's just so stupid.
Or if they do it with other dogs, I'll give it to the other dog.
Which is also stupid. Like, look, I get that, but you're making it worse. When you're not around, this dog is going to protect it even more. They will fight the other dog because you took it from them and gave it to the other one. If you're going to have one resource and multiple predators, you're setting them up for, or animals in general, even prey animals, you're setting them up for failure.
Careful with that.
Why should the dog have to pay for a human mistake? Okay, so we're going to fast forward to this little guy here.
Let me see. What's his name? Roman.
Roman, cute. Immediately takes the leash, grabs it from the dog, chokes it, throws it down. And then he rewards. He's an idiot. Because he could have avoided all that by doing a trade.
It actually wasn't great. Like, he held onto it like a Malinois and growled on his way up, if you guys didn't see it. So here's what I'm going to do. I would give this guy, I would take this and I would give him Kahoots treats or giant pieces of chicken every time you take this.
Okay.
Have you done that?
Yeah, I've done 2 Kongs and exchanged.
Good.
Okay,
excellent.
That's 2 Kongs.
Right.
I think this is better than this.
Well, you're an idiot. Again, this guy is smarter than you are. Replace one Kong with the other. Or it really makes no difference. I mean, you can use both. I don't think one is better than the other. I mean, you can trade him. The point is that you're trading and you're not just ripping it out of his mouth. The option should be, we should be trying to teach the dog that he can let go of it and let us take it for something better. We don't have to rip it out of his mouth. So good on you, dude.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Well, he's going to agree with you because you just told him, no, this is better. I think what you're doing is fine.
Meat, chicken, I don't know. Hey, Roman. I know. Now we can train him.
So now he smells what's in his hand. It smells better than what's in that. And no, Jesus, dude. I would not be okay with this. Do not pull up on my dog's collar and start choking him. So instead of showing the dog and tossing the treat over here, and the dog says, oh, I have something to go for by leaving this, and keeping the dog there, and then you can pick it up and do whatnot. I mean, there's another dog there, so you could toss it over here. He just tells him leave it and chokes the dog out and gives the treat afterward. It's a bit late then. You can work your way up to that, but the dog is not going to know leave it right now. I would take this treat, which seems like the dog was already really interested in it first, toss it on the ground, the dog goes for it, pick up the Kong, and then work with the Kong and the leave it in a standing position. Making sure, where you're not teaching the dog to jump. I mean, a leave it and a trade is totally different things, and this is a whole new environment. The dog's not used to it. Probably the first time he's here, I don't know, around other people and dogs and strangers pulling up on his collar, and this is too much of a draw for him, and just... I would not be okay with this.
Roman,
the dog learned nothing. You're terrible at this. The dog really didn't learn anything other than you choke, and then reward. What the...
Yes. Listen, I didn't go to the leave it right away because I got him. Because...
No, don't take his leash. You hold on to your dog and tell him, let go of my dog's leash. I don't care if you're working with this or not. You can work with this without holding my dog's leash. That's impressive. If you can get my dog to not be a resource guarder and you never even have to touch him, and I can hold the leash, that's impressive.
I don't think you're really solving the problem with just training a leave it.
You can.
But I like it, right? If he can leave it, which he just did. Roman, leave it. I'm not saying we solved the problem, though.
Yeah.
But my God, he's already leaving
You
it.
can.
Maybe he already did that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think we
If
are
you did, see, I'm telling you, this guy, all these people here are way better trainers than him. Than he is.
solving the problem a little bit with what I just did.
Yeah.
I had it. And then when he was
You
done,
didn't solve anything. You just made it worse.
you saw me. I was kind of
Yeah.
rough with him. Like I was just like
Yeah,
pulled
not
it up,
kind of.
and
You
then I'm
were
like,
very
"Get
rough
away
with him.
from
You
it."
were
Like,
aggressive.
This thing is not really his.
Yeah.
Like it. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, why can't the dog have anything? Why can't we respect the dog? He seems like he respects the dog more than you do. What, you have everything. Why can't the dog have a Kong and you just leave him the hell alone? Why can't the dog have a Kong made for dogs? Jesus, dude.
Kind of
Control
ours.
freak.
I know I sound hardcore.
No, you are. You're a control freak.
I'm not saying we do that with this dog. I'm saying we do that with this dog. These guys have a reputation. They're
So?
a tough breed. You're a tough guy.
No, he's not. He seems like a very kind person, and this seems like a great dog. And if you put that spin on it that this is a tough dog, so we have to treat them tough, you're an idiot. Because you're going to toolbox, hammer, nail. Okay? Like with Shibas, and like Shibas and Rotties and Dobermans, people say like, oh, Shibas are stubborn, this and that. If you get a Shiba thinking they're going to be stubborn, you're going to treat them like they're stubborn. But if you see them as just a really intelligent breed, and punishment does not work with them, and they need respect, they demand respect, and if you go about it using positive reinforcement, you're going to have an amazing time with your Shiba. Or your Malinois. Just high energy.
You know what I'm saying? You want a
Cutie
good,
pie,
awesome
oh
Malinois?
my goodness.
You're not really messing around
Yeah.
in life. This is a no mess around deal. Leave it. Treats. It's great.
You will get far more using treats with this dog and keeping them safe than you will with aggressiveness. I think this guy is already, from what I've seen, the respect he has for his dog and the kindness that he shows, I think he's a far better trainer than him. And he's worked with SeaWorld and killer whales and all this and that.
But it's,
Yeah.
does that make sense?
It's based on opinion. It's not fact. It's opinion. This guy seems like he has a good sense of humor. I hope he continues doing what he's doing by listening to his dog and being kind and respectful to his dog. So best of luck to all the people here.
No, it does,
Like
yeah.
the attitude, you
Yeah.
saw how he worked with
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
But then even that one time, I was like pulling him away.
No,
I don't know what I was
don't
doing.
start listening
And
to
then
him
he
by
eventually
jerking him
looked at
around
me.
all the
I gave him
time.
a better treat than he got from that. So you do want to reinforce it, but you also want to be like, I'm taking this stuff. But you can't just take stuff from your dog all day and be like, I run the show. I know I sound like that sometimes.
No, you are like that. You're a control freak.
I gave him 3 big pieces of chicken
So?
at different moments in
You
there.
also gave him like 20 leash pops and you jerked him around and hung him around everywhere. It doesn't matter. The dog doesn't care that you paired it with 3 big pieces of chicken. The dog just sees, oh, at this moment I get chicken. Oh, this is better. I want to chew on this. I want to chew on that. Oh, chicken. Oh, I want to chew on this. I want to chew on that. Oh, chicken. And then he says, hey, that chicken's great. I sat, but you didn't give me anything, so I'm going to look for something else over here. So that's the end of this video. I just thought of this and I thought that it was kind of interesting, and that especially when he says that dog made the mistake of interrupting him. He's just like that person from Kwanzaa Kennels that's just, oh sweetheart, are you afraid? Because she knows she's gonna hurt the dog. So anyway, that was this video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. Let me know what you think, what you'd like to see next time. I have a little list of things of requests by people that I have not forgotten. So if you sent me a comment in the last few days, then I'm working my way up to those. So thanks again for watching. I appreciate it. I love all my subscribers. Go love your little pets, whether they're furry or feathered or scaly or watery. Go love on your little loved ones. Happy Valentine's Day, which is when I'm recording this. Until next time, stay positive.